So recently we talked about some of the stories with our former exotic car rental car company. And one of the most awkward situations I've been in, and potentially, I mean, I was pretty upset and frustrated, was when we were working with Nike for a campaign with LeBron James and his new shoe. So this is probably 2014, 2015, right as Lamborghini launched the new Aventador Roadster. And we had always, Lou La Vie as an exotic car rental company, obviously I'm a passionate car guy. I was always chasing the newest, latest, greatest, most interesting cars. I think we were the first company in the world to rent a Lamborghini Aventador. We were the only company to ever rent a Ferrari 16M. And I think you could go on and on and on. A list of very interesting cars. And I get a call one day from an exec at Nike, a guy that I knew through sort of the nightclub scene, and he was very high up. He had been responsible for some major activations, one of the big Nike Air Max activations, and he basically told me that Nike and LeBron James were launching a new shoe. It had a very Miami theme and Miami sort of lifestyle coloring, and their goal was to launch the shoe in Miami, a massive event, and actually use cars or a car to mimic the inside of the shoe. So I said, okay, that sounds great. And he said specifically they wanted a Lamborghini Aventador Roadster. So at the time, we were in the process of potentially trading our Aventador Coupe for a Roadster, and we essentially, because of that, sped up the process. And instead of actually renting it to Nike, I asked them, I said, hey, you know, I'm a big PR and marketing guy. Forget the rental. All I ask you to do is pay for the wrap. I'll give you this car for a week or however long, 2 weeks. I want to be able to market that it's our company partnering with Nike, and we want to get the press out of it. They were super happy about that. I believe at the time, you know, if you wanted to go rent an Aventador, it could be $3,000, $4,000 a day. Figure the time it took to wrap the car, the event, you know, we're talking $25,000 potentially for this rental. So we bought the car. It was one of the launch edition Aventador Roadsters in the silver blue with cream interior. And it got to Miami. We were super excited. And we start basically wrapping this car. And the design, and I know we'll show some photos, was this like floral, you know, sort of, I wouldn't call it like an octagonal print, but this print that was on the inside of the LeBron James shoe and part of the LeBron James shoe, and that was what this entire car was wrapped with. So we finally get the car done, and we bring it over to this big event. So the event was actually at I believe it was the 1111 Lincoln parking garage, a well-known and very beautiful building in Miami. And it was just this insane event. I mean, imagine, Nike probably spent $1 million on the build out. There was basketball courts. There was like this area where you walk through the history of LeBron James. They had this area where you design your own shoe. I mean, it was very, very cool. And then they had the shoes everywhere displayed in these beautiful sort of, boxes and et cetera, et cetera. And our Lamborghini Aventador was at the front of the event, matching the shoe with the shoe, and it actually had our logo on the front of the car. So as the marketing guy I am, I really wanted to capitalize on that. So I reached out to everyone I knew. We knew writers at TMZ. We knew all these different people in the marketing world, and we said, hey, you know, Lou La Vie and LeBron James and Nike are launching, and you know, so the story explodes. And to this day, I don't even know why. But you know, LeBron James at the time was part of the big three in the Miami Heat, so that was huge. I mean, you could arguably say it was one of the most talked about sports events during that period. And I think they were about to win the championship, or they had won the championship, so there was a lot of buzz around LeBron James. And literally, this story about LeBron James Aventador went worldwide. I mean, it was everywhere. It was in sneaker, media. It was in pop culture media. And the funny thing about the story was, Somehow Lou La Vie didn't really get the credit, even though our photos had Lou La Vie all over it. Everyone was saying that this was LeBron James' car, which apparently made him very upset. Now, when we had first launched Lou La Vie, a dear friend of mine who was a partner with us was DJ Irie of the Miami Heat, and he was actually the DJ for the Miami Heat. He was part of the team. He got one of the rings when they won the championship. So he was very, very close with all of the players, and the story got back to me during the weekend activities that LeBron James was livid, and he wanted nothing to do with the story. That's not his Lamborghini Aventador. Why is everyone saying that? And it got back to me. And within probably a few hours, I got a call from Nike asking us to remove the car, remove the Nike logos, and basically remove the wrap. So apparently, and I don't know the full story, but we had the rumors, LeBron James was pretty upset. And I think it had something to do with the fact that the reality was there was more press about our Aventador and this wrap and LeBron James than there was actually about the shoe. I mean, all of the articles, all they talked about was his Lamborghini Aventador in this crazy color. Ends up, we removed the car from the event. I tried to reach out to his camp for, like apologizing, but not really, because I was upset because now our car was removed from this event and we didn't really get all the promo. Anyways, make a long story, it's definitely something, I still see the car pop up sometimes on Instagram. I see it pop up on different news feeds as one of LeBron James' personal cars. And it's definitely one of the more interesting conflicts and stories that we've had.